What's up, guys? I'm SaltEMike, and this is your Star Citizen Week in Review for June 19th, 2023. 3.19.1 went live without getting a single patch since last Thursday. That's actually unheard of. We have Alien Week this week, so naturally, all of the focus has shifted to selling ships. And then we had some pretty crazy Citcon announcements. All that and more on today's Week in Review. And as always, if this is your first week in review, this is where I take all of the official Star Citizen news each week, put it into one video, and share some of my opinions about it. I also live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/SaltEMike, where I live stream starting at 6:30 a.m. Eastern time every day but Monday, so I can get this video out to you guys. Now, we have a ton to get through, so many subjects, a lot of little things, but a lot of subjects. So let's start out with those 3.19.1 live notes. Okay, so let me explain why this is so weird. Normally, you get a patch going to the PTU. They, double check and make sure that it's okay, and then they just turn that patch into the live patch. That didn't happen. We've had the same patch for a week, and now it's live without any fixes. And there are some major problems in 3.19.1 still, and some really, really problematic things that they were working on fixing that they didn't get done. So this sort of feels like it went out for Alien Week. I don't know. It's just another situation of throwing something out the door and not really caring how good it is, because they can't. They got to keep moving on. 320. Although, what's in 320? What are these teams even working on? Is it Citizen? I don't know at this point. So the rush out of this one seems weird because they didn't seem rushed in the PTU. They were pushing out very small patches with almost no fixes. And yeah, just very, very weird. But let's get into the notes in case you guys aren't familiar with what's in 3.19.1, because you might have been waiting for 3.19 to stabilize. I will say that is the advantage of this patch, is it is more stable. So an ASOP terminal refactor is the first thing. The ASOP terminals should be working better. There are reports that some are not. I kept hearing it on my live stream and everyone was mad that mine were working and theirs weren't. I just got lucky, apparently. There's some that are working, there's some that are not. I would imagine it's just like leftover crappy ASOP terminals from an older situation that is now fixed. I don't know. Tractor beam quality of life. If you guys use mining attachments or attaching guns, things like that, you now don't have to be so perfect. You can just line them up quite easily and get them on nice and quickly. Scannable updates for mining. This is a very simple one. It's just basically if you have modules attached to your mining lasers, you will now know how easy or difficult it is, or a rock is to break based off of those modules, not just your laser. And then there were a number of bug fixes that, did work, and 19,000 errors mostly seem to have been resolved. Some players, I'm still hearing comments that they're locked out of the game. The Reclaimer elevator is working now. I've used it a couple times effectively, so I've had no issues with it. The mining deposits are no longer exploding like nuclear bombs when you break a rock correctly, so you're not losing components, you're not getting launched into space. We've had some pretty crazy experiences, but there are some bugs that they were really trying to nail down. Basically, all the really bad ones are not fixed. NPC spawning like insane numbers, invisible players, invisible asteroids, and the mention of the ASOP terminals not being resolved is another one that is still broken, even though it was said to be fixed, right? So there are some issues with this patch. It does feel rushed out for almost seemingly no reason, when they really felt like they were taking their time on it and like trying to get it right, and then just left it after, like just gave up is what it basically felt like, and they moved on to 320. What's in 320, right? Well, we have a little bit of news of something worth looking forward to in 320 for the PU. Obviously, there's a ton of Arena Commander stuff, but for the PU, Xylo announced that the Vulture will be available for in-game sale. Now, I am not going to beat this dead horse, but I'm not going to pat them on the back for doing something they should have done a long time ago. And essentially, this should be priced correctly, somewhere around the price of the Prospector, because they make similar money and they are similar ships. That's basically where I'm going to stick with that. You're not getting a pat on the back for your terrible behavior, and I hope it changes in the future, even though I know it won't. For roadmap updates this week, it was disappointingly very short. The only thing for 320 is wheeled vehicle handling improvements. They've been gradually working on these for a while. I would guess that this is someone's sort of busy work that they do when they have nothing else to do, similar to the little racetracks and things like that they've done in the past. I don't think this was a huge priority or anything. I think it was just something that they were doing, and I think we have really good kind of vehicle people as far as ground vehicles and racing goes for the people who work on the vehicle experience team. So I'm confident that they're going to get this in a really good place and feeling probably as close to Simi as Star Citizen wants to get. This has just been such a weird year. We've had all these AC things and like zero flagship things for 320. So it's just a weird, what is 320 going to be? Why is 319.1 getting rushed out when feature teams are, you know, what are they even working on? So it's just such a weird one. I imagine we're going to hear some economy balance with the Hull C. We're going to talk a lot more about that in video updates. And then we did have a progress tracker update as far as this roadmap as well. The Fury was on there, which is very weird since it's been out for weeks. And then the Tumbril Storm as well, right? So minor things for the progress tracker. Now let's move on to the Squadron 42 monthly report. Now, please keep in mind, I never go over these in depth. I just go into what would be useful for the PU out of Squadron 42. There's a chance at Citcon this year, maybe we hear Squadron 42 updates and a release date. Once we start having more information on the status of Squadron 42, I will start making updates on this channel about that game as well, separately from Week in Review, like its own sort of thing, because it should be its own sort of game, but it isn't yet as far as I'm concerned. So it is the minor leagues and the feeding pool for the PU at the moment, and that's all that I am going to address it as until then. So gameplay features. This sort of implies a lot of star map work is done, and they're moving on to the area map, which I think we saw at Citcon last year, a little bit of it, and all this stuff is expected in the PU at some point. But again, as always, every time we go through these, who knows when. It's been reported that the things that we saw at Citcon last year should be in the game by the end of the year this year. That's over 1 year to get it from Squadron into the PU. That is an extensive amount of time. Vehicle features, we got a little information on control surfaces, that they might actually have drag and lift and gas clouds, so that should be interesting. More quantum VFX, and then IFCS updates. The big one here is MFDs. We actually got more detail on what the actual MFD updates will be. They're going to be larger, they're going to be simpler and easier to read. I mean, I think we all knew that, but the actual larger MFD means that they might have to address the way ships look. You know, certainly Squadron 42 ships at the start, so maybe we will see a Gladius update in the near future. These guys have been busy, but I definitely still worry about the lack of community feedback on major important features like the way ships fly, like the way ships handle, like the way ships fire, right? All things like that. It is very uncomfortable to have them working on it exclusively in Squadron 42 and then bring it to us nearly feature complete and then go, it is what it is, guys, and then only tweak it a little bit, right? I don't think they're going to make major tweaks from this point forward. Then UI is the last thing we'll go over, and the big things here are the AR markers, which kind of let you know where objectives are and missions and things like that. We badly need an update to these in Star Citizen, and I imagine that we will see them in the PU with these updates at some point as well. And with video updates, we had an Inside Star Citizen titled San Talk Y'all, so we expect them to talk a lot about the San Tokyai. So that would be the feature of the video, you would think, right? Like big, really awesome reveal, Alien Week, right? Right?
Real talk, we just failed our gray box review.
In the words of our good friend Voidyvids, oh well, never mind. They do talk about why these things happened, and I think it was nice. I'm glad they did. So here's what happened.
And it's not catastrophic. The main reason for that is because we haven't quite figured out how we're going to be doing and designing the cockpit dashboard yet. All of the exterior has been basically gray box modeled out. We have the majority of the animations finished. I'm actually currently repolishing the landing animation and in-flight animation and a couple of other really cool things that we haven't shown before. But yeah, the bulk of the geometry has been modeled out, and we're about to get ready to start doing material work and palms and all that good stuff to make it look beautiful. But unfortunately, we can't quite move on to that stage yet until we really nail down what it is that we're going to be doing with the dashboard.
So there it is. It's a dashboard issue, cockpit, and these are things that we're going to see a lot of if we're using that chip, so it's important that it looks good. More on that later, though. We will see what it looks like, so keep an eye out for the rest of the video. And then let's talk about a ship that might actually release in 320, and it's an old one. So let's go over the overview of what it is. You may not have even heard of it.
Hull C, for those that don't know, is like the big 18-wheeler of the Star Citizen universe, designed for transporting bulk cargo around the stations and between solar systems. We started it, I want to say 5+ years ago. We got so far on the art and design side, probably early grey box. And then the sheer amount of technical challenges with this ship became apparent. We put a pause to it. We thought, we'll come back. The teams that need to help us have more important things to do at that point in time. There was object container streaming going on. So we're like, that's more important. We'll sort that out. We'll come back to it.
Okay, so major takeaways here are they said station to station bulk traffic, right? Bulk delivering. And that is kind of the weird thing about Star Citizen right now. The only thing that you can travel, and they do show it in this video, is, or can trade, and they do show it in this video, is scrap. And I'm worried that that's still going to be the only thing that we see in 320. We do have time. I don't know what's going on, but we never have economy updates, so I expect it to just be scrapped for now, but hopefully not. Then we did get a tractor beam sneak peek as well, so go back in the video if you didn't catch it. It's on a turret. It looks pretty cool. It looks very different from a gun. And then they also showed the 32 SU boxes showing up and working in-game. That's really important, really good for entity issues and frame rate issues and server issues. So let's hear a little bit more about how that might work.
So how does cargo work for the Hull C in Alpha 320?
So in Alpha 320, the Hull C behaves as we expect it to. When it's extended, when its cargo arms are out, it can't land. So it can't take cargo in the normal sense that any other ship that takes cargo does while it's landed. So you go to your cargo terminal, you buy as much cargo as you want, you set it to the Hull C, but the system recognizes that it can't spawn the cargo while the ship is landed. So you get in your ship, you fly it out of the hangar, and then contact ACC again. That is when the ship realizes, oh, I'm out of the landing zone now, I'm ready to take some cargo. So you extend it, contact the ATC, and the cargo will spawn on your ship then.
Does this thing fit in any hangars?
While it's collapsed, it'll fit in the large spec hangars. When it's extended, it doesn't fit in any hangar we have at the moment.
I love this. A Band-Aid fix for something that is intended to work differently in the future, but they want it to work and be fun now. This is a huge W for people who enjoy playing the game, and a huge L for all you guys in the comments who about the it's an alpha, that's not how game development works. Well, here it is right in front of your face. This is game development. This is how it works. Get it in game working, get feedback on it, and the final product will be better for all this. This is what an alpha is, guys. I don't know what to say to you guys. I don't know how to say it any better than that. Those are my feelings about Star Citizen. More stuff like this, less of the, well, we'll bring it up to the gold standard later down the line, so let's not work on any of it now. Let's not even deliver the feature. No, deliver the feature, make it work, make it fun, band-aid it however you need to, but here it is, right? And I absolutely love that. They also shared a ton of visuals of the Hull C. So if you guys haven't checked out the full video yet, do it. Check it out. Link in the description. And then we had a Star Citizen Live titled Alien Narrative, which is with the narrative team. And sometimes these are really cool, but I don't think there was too much to take away other than the SaltEMike cockpit. We did see it. Jared showed it on his laptop, so you can get a decent idea of what they're going for there. And it does look pretty cool, but I don't know. Nothing that I am, too blown away by. I'm not too into alien ships. Let me know down in the comments if you guys are really excited for the SaltEMike. I'm sure some of you are. Not really my thing. I was way more excited for the Hull C. And then, as always, at the end of the week, other updates. We have a sneak peek, and this one is one of the biggest teases for me that I've seen in a while. I love games where you go to some place, you kill a bunch of NPCs or something like that, and you have a chance to find a key that opens a door to a loot room or opens a door to a whole nother place in a whole nother area that has some cool loot, something like that, right? So this is something really cool for me. I just look at it and I'm instantly excited, but I always have to remind myself that I've seen some crazy things on these sneak peeks that have never come to fruition, have come to fruition years later, a year later, months later. So who knows what's going on with something like this, but it does excite me. Then we had those Citcon details that I teased at the beginning of the show. Big change is that it's a 2-day event instead of one. We've never had a 2-day event before. Now, personally, I'm not sure how the quality of Citcon content is going to be this year. It's a 2-day event. They have to stretch it out. How much information could they possibly have in a game that is really stagnated right now due to the technology issues that they have? They're not able to show server meshing, because if they could, they would have shown it to us by now. They're certainly not holding it back for Citcon, right? I hope not. But the other thing is that they might be doing more things that are convention focused and not video focused and not to the people who are not there, right? Last year's Citcon was the best, I think, in history. It was all really relevant information and highly digestible information. That was the best way to do it. I think they've taken that format and made ISC, and obviously they don't have the wealth of information to share with us on every ISC, but I do think that that is the better way of doing things like this, and I think the live venue event is going to be sort of problematic and not as good. But here's the deal. There's 2 types of tickets, one a regular ticket and one premium ticket. They both give you both days, so there's no daily passes or anything like that. And the premium one gives you access to an after party. Not sure what that means. It's just going to be top hat and monocle nerds sharing their fleet picks, I'm sure. So whatever, if you guys really want to do that stuff, I don't know. We need more information here before we start making judgments on these things. Now, with that, if you are concierge or if you're a subscriber, the 29th, you're going to be able to pick up tickets. If you're a smart person and you have not spent too much money on Star Citizen, you can pick something up on the 30th, okay? So good luck, smart people. Good luck. The ticket price, though, is the controversial thing. They're extremely expensive in comparison to previous years, but we haven't had a Citcon in 4 years. Inflation is actually a thing, but that people are definitely raising prices for. But here's what it comes down to. If you're delivering a high-level con price, you have to deliver a high-level con experience. We don't know what they're delivering. So I'm going to look at that price and I'm going to gasp until I hear about the information of what they're going to do there, right? What events are you putting on? What are you showing? What are you doing at Citcon that is worth that ticket price? And I guess in retrospect, we'll find out if the ticket price was worth it or not. We're not going to know from today whether or not these prices are worth it. We will know at the end if it was. And I am going to prejudge and say, I don't think Star Citizen has the meat on the bones of the game to support what a BlizzCon style event would be. Q&As, lore, they can definitely do those things, but like events, tournaments, I mean, I guess we see Atmo Esports doing things, right? So maybe something like that. I don't know, what else can they do though? You have your panels, right? But 2 days of that? That's the thing here, is all those things are cool, all those things work over 1 day. How are they going to work over 2? Now, all the fixins from previous Citcons are back. Community boosts, cosplay contests are back. If the baghead guy is not there, we're going to riot. That's all I'm saying. And then they need volunteers. I sort of was a volunteer at Gamescom 2016, right? That was very, very cool. And hey, community manager Chris, who wrote this up, is one of the people who have volunteered at these events for years, and Chris is the man. Go sign up for these if you're able to volunteer. It's really enjoyable, really fun. I highly suggest it. Now, Alien Week is next, and there's really nothing special to share here, to be honest. It's all the old alien ships that have been in game for a while because the Santokii wasn't ready, right? So it is what it is there. A lot of paints. I wonder if Zero State is going to use one of these Defender paints. They look pretty cool. And then we had a lore post for the Cyclone and I guess Tumbril as well. So it shares the Tumbril history. If you're interested in that, check it out. The Tumbril Storm Q&A came out and there is some interesting stuff there. So about the Storm, what is its health going to be like? Somewhere between the Nova Tank, which has the most health, and the Centaurian, which has less than it will have less than the Storm. Is the weapon better than the size 3s since there's only one, like size 3 ship weapons? They say yes, since it's this bespoke weapon. I just hope we don't have a bug where we can take one of these off and put it on the Gladius. That'll be problematic. And then the last one is a pretty big bombshell, in my opinion. The vehicle has a very small sized power plant, a size 0, which is, very underpowered if we expect it to work how all the ones work now. What they tell us is they seem to have a lot more information on the rebalance of the resource network and all these things, right? So the sizes of all of our components sound like they're going to change at some point in the near future, and I think that's pretty cool. And with that, guys, that is this week's Week in Review. Thank you so much for watching. It took a while to put this together. There was a ton of information. There were a ton of takes. If you can hear, I am feeling a little bit sick. I don't know why. I'm a bit congested, so I don't know if you hear it coming through in the video. But happy Father's Day, everybody. I am recording this on Sunday. I hope you guys had a great Sunday while watching this on Monday. But thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment down below. I will not be attending Citcon. I have a crippling fear of flying, and I continue to make excuses of why I can't go. I do have a cat who's a bit older, and we did go on a vacation, and we came back, and she was not doing better than we would have hoped. So being home is important for that as well. I don't think that that's not a valid excuse, but every other one, I am definitely making up for my anxiety of flying. And to be honest, the flight that caused my anxiety was 2016 Citcon LA. So yeah, that's something that I have a hard time getting over. I think the next Citizen Cons, if they're in Austin or Montreal or something like that, Montreal would be awesome if they actually have one there. I will try to attend those, but this one I will not make it. I do apologize. I will not make it to hang out with you guys, but I really wish I could. There's so many people that I've made friends with over the last few years. The Star Citizen content creation community, the Star Citizen community in general, has been way more open arms to me in recent years, and I really, really do appreciate it, and I really, really wish that I can get over that hump and make it out to hang out with you guys. But hopefully there'll be a big Florida Bar Citizen soon, and I will definitely attend that one. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Leave a like, comment down below, and yeah, subscribe for more Weeks in Review, and I'll see you guys next week.